Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Pint Bros. I'm your host, Robert, and on a continuous journey of visiting every brewery in Southern California, we're out here in the city of Montclair, checking out Up Brewcade. Let's go check them out. Hey guys, I am joined here with Luis at Up Brewcade.
Yes, sir.
That name is awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but thanks for having us here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's funny, like when we started talking a while back, and the amount of work that you put into this place is insane.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, again, you're a one-man show, so you run the place, you brew the beer, and you're pretty much here from open to close.
Pretty much, man.
That's insane. That's crazy. What made you want to decide to open up your own brewery?
You know what, man? To be honest, it was kind of like a long time coming for me. So started off like just like everybody else, average home brewer, and then had the opportunity to work at different breweries as an apprentice and learn. And then somehow, some way, man, I ended up in Temecula, right? Years later, drinking a beer at a place called Craft Brewing Company. Yeah. And was talking to the guy that was pouring beer back there, cool dude. And he put the idea in my head. This is before I even like really thought about opening up a brewery. And he's like, hey man, you know, you should look into, you know, opening your own spot if this is your passion. And at the time I was like an avid craft beer drinker, man, you know? And I kind of forgot about that whole story. And then fast forward a year or two later, this opportunity came up, man. And it was like, I feel like if I don't do it now, then I'll never do it. And I always have this saying, it's like, oh, well is greater than what if. So I'd rather make the attempt. Oh, well, I tried versus like not making it and living in regret, you know?
For sure.
So it brought me here and, you know, little by little, man, it's getting to where I want it to be, you know?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What made you decide out here in Montclair?
Well, to be honest, man, I actually used to live in Corona.
Okay.
And my goal was to open up here in the, you know, in the IE. And then, I moved to the high desert. So I currently live in the high desert.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a pretty heavy commute. And I wanted to open up there because there's nothing out there really. And then I hit a bunch of like roadblocks, you know, and when this opportunity came up, I drove down. This used to be a Sandbox Brewing Company.
Okay.
Yeah. And they had a great, I think 6-7 year stint here, you know, in the city of Montclair. And they decided to, you know, throw the towel in. And I came in and put my own concept here. And I feel, you know what, I'll do it here. And then eventually, if the opportunity presents itself again, I'll open up like a secondary location out there.
That is cool.
But I'm born and raised in the IE, man. So it's like, it's kind of cool to see like familiar faces from high school and family and stuff like that come through.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, the concept of Level Up.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Good question, man. So I'm a big sports guy. So when I get into something, man, I have one of those personalities. I'm like super intense and passionate about it. Gaming, since I remember, dude, like my first ever gaming experience was like Christmas. I was maybe like 7 years old. My mom bought me a Sega Genesis. And that's kind of what sparked everything for me. Sonic, you know, old school Spider-Man. So as I got older, I've realized that when I'm into something, sports, music, gaming, and then eventually beer, I'm like 100% in, right? So as I started collecting these arcades throughout the years, I felt like, hey, why not incorporate the arcades and the beer, Brewcade, and open up my spot eventually. Because there really isn't anything like this, for at least within 25 miles of me. There's like, you know, a couple of barcades and stuff, but a full-on brewery, not really. So when I got the opportunity, I'm like, you know what, man, let's just shoot it. Let's just do it, you know? And then here comes Up Brewcade. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Again, when we spoke, I mean, it was what, months ago, we were still into
this is our first date, Robert.
That's it. It's insane.
Yeah.
And just to think of the amount of work
that
has come into just everything that you've developed here.
Yeah.
And then the actual, you know, your arcade itself. I love the concept of it's just like, okay, you come in, You pay a flat fee and you could come and play all day.
Yeah.
You could leave and come back later on and continue on your drinking escapade with playing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's a fun option.
Cool.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Now, the game systems themselves. Now, how do you obtain them? Like,
yeah, great question. So, I've been collecting for about maybe 4 years now, right? Got to give a shout out. The person that kind of got me into collecting, he actually owns an arcade out there in San Bernardino called the Extraordinary Arcade. His name's Will. He kind of showed me the ropes on where to look, where to find games, how to know if they're in good condition or not. Because prior to this experience, dude, I never really collected these big retro arcades, let alone work on them. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother project in itself. So once I started collecting, little by little, I started realizing the market. So I do, private sellers, offer a Facebook marketplace.
Yeah.
I'll go to auctions as well. And then I try to find them as clean as I can. If there is some work that needs to be done, I bring them back to the house. And just whenever I have time, when I'm not brewing or cleaning or working the tap room, I'll sit in the garage with a few beers and figure out the projects, based on what the arcades need.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Awesome. Now, you're all dressed up right now for Christmas.
I am, man.
We're pretty much here in the holidays already.
Yeah.
And I love the little decor that you have here and there.
Thank you.
Is it like running off to like Home Depot or something and stuff up?
Yeah. So again, as I've been collecting this, I've been collecting a bunch of like the decorations here.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, my whole house was decked out in like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. So I just recycled that and brought it here, So yeah. Eventually there'll be more stuff as, time opens up for me to get it ready for even, December and things like that. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like, I was just thinking when the second I walked in, I'm like, this place is small and quaint, but it has so much insane character.
Oh, thank
You
you.
look at every square inch of this place and it has a story. It has, personality,
Yeah.
and it's fun. And the murals themselves,
Mhm.
like, who did them?
Oh yeah. So I got to give a shout out to my buddy. His name's Art. He goes by Saucy Pasta on Instagram. Yeah. Super saucy with the artwork, man. And he did all the murals here. I'm probably going to bring him back and do some more murals all along the walls as well. He's been doing it for a very long time. Great graffiti artist. I brought him in and he knocked it out in probably in about a week. This mural here, the Pac-Man mural, and the one in the restroom as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the bathroom one's fun too. Almost felt like you're in a club too with the
lights. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Thanks, man.
It's pretty impressive in just a short amount of time that you've been open, that you've told me that you've constantly been changing it out here and there just to try to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And utilizing every square inch, at its optimal way of doing so.
Yeah, I'm trying, man.
No, but I mean, like I told you, walked in, I'm like, it felt like it had already been here for some time because it just had this flow and this energy
Yeah.
of just fun.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
element. So
Yeah.
no, that's really cool. Now, your passion for Mario Brothers obviously has to be up there. I mean, it comes technically with the level up. I mean, it's all in the same world,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Kind of a play on words, level up for me is like constantly elevating your life, right? Like not having a woe is me attitude. Obviously life is tough, man. I mean, you constantly hit roadblocks and challenges, forks in the road. And if we don't learn from our prior experiences and we're not actually learning and growing and leveling up to get to where we want to be. So I chose this as a play on words, the whole Mario and arcade theme here, but also to level up and grow. I can remind myself to constantly have that Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant, to always just strive for greatness.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. So here are a couple of your personal faves and the top sellers.
Yeah.
This one starting with the Pilsner.
Yep. Pilsner. Yeah. So Pilsner, it's a 4.3%. It's more of an Italian Pilsner versus the Czech. Very light body, super smooth. There's some saws in here, and on the back end, did a little funky dry hop with some Citra in there. So you get that little Citra component in there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And the ABV on this one is
4.3.
4.3.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
There it is, there, brother.
Yeah,
Cheers, man. Hell yeah. Cheers. Kind of like a hoppy pills.
Really, Citra obviously
There it is.
in there immediately. Really good.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I like to incorporate, usually you see a lot of Czechs at breweries, and eventually I will brew a Czech, but I want to do something a little different and add that Citra component. It's one of my favorite hops. Oh, every brewer's favorite hop, probably Citra, you know, so.
I mean, it gets around, but you know, but I like it because at the same time, like you have that punch of a hoppy flavor, right?
Yeah.
You have the Citra, the great, you know, the great citrusy flavors that hop brings.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's super light.
Yep.
It's really crushable.
Yeah.
Very just crisp and light. So I really like that.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Cool.
Thank you.
Second one we have here.
Yeah.
Now we were talking earlier. You're Mr. IPA.
Mr. IPA, man. Yeah. So this is the hazy, double dry hopped, real good juicy flavor. For me, it's one of my favorites.
Really hazy.
Yeah, that got a good haze. You know what I mean? So it's like for me on the nose, get a lot of like, you know, guava, you know, some grapefruit in there as well. For me, this is a 6.3, real good ABV, super crushable, dangerous, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's try it out, man. Cheers, brother. Right?
Yeah.
You get that grapefruit in there for sure.
Very much.
Yeah. And those are just the hops, man. Right now, the only beer that I have that's fruit flavored other than the seltzer is going to be that sour right there.
Okay. No, this is, again, another very powerful, but again, really light.
Yep.
Very airy.
Yep.
There's creamy aspect to it, really, but it's really impressive.
Thanks, man. I think for me, it's like, I was talking to a buddy probably a few weekends ago, and I like to brew beer that eventually, yes, I am a hop head and I will introduce those heavy hitters here eventually on a rotational basis. But for me, for my soft opening, I wanted to incorporate beers that are easy drinking, that everyone can come in and not feel like super bloated with a triple or for something heavy, right? So a lot of the beers that you'll have today are going to be pretty much light body, super crushable, very juicy with the hazy. You get that hop in the forefront, sometimes in the back end, and it kind of fizzles out, but you can still kind of taste it there. Yeah, and that's been my thing, man, when I brew beers. I want the flavor to shine through versus the alcohol to shine through, right?
No, and that's exactly what I'm getting in those first two for sure. All right, so our last one here is our sour.
Sour, man. Yeah, double berry sour.
So tell me some more.
Yeah, 6%. Not overly sour, more of a tart component with a sweet finish. A lot of really good berries, bunch of puree, just loaded it up. Real clean, man. For me, I'm a big fan of sours. My sours don't light a candle to sour cellars up here off the road, right here in Rancho. If you're ever in the area, stop by Sour Cellars, man. They do some really cool, funky barrel stuff. I don't have the space for it yet, but maybe one day. So this is going to be pretty much a kettle sour, but I use a house yeast for it that I kind of combine to give me kind of this really unique old school barrel type of sour without using a barrel. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Cool. There's something, it's taking me back to a drink, and I'm like, I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering that.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Light. Again, you had the tartness.
Yep.
Super sour.
Yep.
But yeah, you can taste the fruit. You can taste your purees and back there.
Yeah.
Very berry.
Yes.
Very berry.
Yeah. So what this beer pretty much is maybe this is the beer you're thinking of. I'm a big fan of framboise. That's the one, right? Yeah, the raspberry framboise.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm kicking myself.
Yeah. This is kind of like my ode to something like that. You get that raspberry in there. You get another, little blueberry component in there. Again, very sweet, but also very tarty, but not overly done. It is a higher ABV than the framboise, but it's been one of the staples here. So I might even just bring that one back too.
No, that was really good.
Oh, thank you, man.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Now, these are awesome beers.
Thanks, man.
Well, Luis, I appreciate you having us down here.
Absolutely.
This place is awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Like I said, I wish I had something like this nearby home, because it's those kind of places that it's kind of like that Cheers, kind of like everybody knows your name kind of thing.
There you go.
You got to grab that community. You got to establish that here for sure. And I wish you the best of luck in this place.
Oh, I appreciate it.
It's awesome. I want to see you level up.
There we go.
See you keep growing. And
Vice versa, dude. You too, man.
oh man, I appreciate it. But heck, you have my number. So the second you expand, you hit me up. So we'll come back for another episode.
I'll be right next to your house, dude.
I know. But if you guys are out in the city of Montclair, come check out Level Up Brewcade. And tell Luis we said hi.
Cheers, guys.
So thanks again, man.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Hell yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.